3 years ago, I planted 2 apple trees. I wanted them to grow as espaliered against this garage wall. The little flower bed was so narrow that anything I planted there was either very low, which left a huge blank wall exposed, or if it was something taller, it would be too wide and hang way over the path. So I thought espaliered would be great, tall and narrow, exactly what I needed. Plus, the wall was in full sun, so it was a great location as well. 3 years later, it worked perfectly. Not only is the garage wall covered with green most of the year, in the springtime it's covered in light pink blooms, and in the summer covered in apples. In fact, loaded with apples. Last year I thinned out over 100 apples, and that still left over 100 on these 2 trees. There aren't many apple varieties that work in my climate. We just don't get enough chill hours. Chill hours are the number of hours in the winter that fall between 45 and 32 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm lucky to get 200 hours. Most apples need over 500 hours. Out of the few to pick from, I chose 2 that need only 100 chill hours, but had great reviews for taste and texture. The first one is Anna. It's actually related to Golden Delicious. It is self-sterile though, which means it needs a pollinator. Of course, the pollinator also has to be low chill and flower at the same time. For that, I chose Dorset Golden. It's a low chill variety developed in the Bahamas. It's also related to Golden Delicious as well. And it really is a great choice with great flavor. In most places, apple trees are self-deciduous. I don't know if that's a word I just made up, but here they aren't so deciduous. Most places where you might live, they lose their leaves when winter arrives, automatically. But in warm winter climates, the tree is looking like this in January. So it requires a little human intervention. Removing the leaves by hand now in winter helps to prevent the buildup of pests and disease, and also stimulates the tree to put out new fresh green growth that will be necessary later to shade the fruit and produce food for the tree. So that's what I have to do. And you always want to make sure you clip off the leaves rather than pulling them. Pulling them off can tear the bark just enough for disease to enter. When you have all the leaves off the tree, you can see the structure and if there's anything you need to remove. And you want to prune any long vertical growth off of the lateral branches. You also want to prune any branches that are crossing, rubbing, or diseased. One important thing you need to know about apple trees is that they produce their fruit on spurs. Each spur can produce apples for decades, so you don't want to cut those off, and you want to help the tree create more. Spurs are these shorter branches coming off of these lateral branches. So I don't want to cut these off. All summer long, whenever a stem or branch starts growing vertically up off of the main laterals, I trim it down to about the length of my index finger. And that's going to help the tree develop that into a spur. And as the tree matures, I might want to make sure there's enough space between the spurs at pruning time, but these trees are still young, so I'm not really concerned about that right now. Once everything is pruned, we need to clean up the area. Rake up all the leaves and trimmings and take them away. We want to make the environment surrounding them as clean and fresh as possible. Then after cleanup, you want to do a dormant spray. I use neem oil. It's organic and safe for people and animals. I use neem oil for just about everything, but it's really good as a dormant spray. It kills off any pests and diseases that are lurking, waiting to strike at the first signs of new spring growth. If you get peach leaf curl, where the leaves are all gnarled up in the spring and summer, a good dormant spray in the winter is going to help with that. So that's it. In a couple weeks, we should see bright green leaves start to emerge and beautiful pink flowers, assuring us that despite what the groundhog says, winter is over and spring is on its way. Thanks so much, guys, for watching. If you learned something new or have any tips to share, let me know in the comments. Also, hit subscribe for more how-to gardening videos. See you next time.